Season 2, Episode 19. People buy value. Master the WAFM principle. Aum Namapegavaith Vasudevya. Imagine walking into two different stores. The first salesperson immediately begins talking. Our company has been in business for 30 years. We have the latest technology. We're the market leader. Our product has 25 advanced features. After 10 minutes, you still don't know one thing. How will your life become better? Now imagine walking into another store. The salesperson smiles and says, I understand you're looking for a solution that saves you time, reduces your monthly costs, and gives you peace of mind. Let me show you exactly how this can help you. Within 60 seconds, you feel understood. You feel valued. You feel interested. The product may even be the same. But one salesperson talked about themselves. The other talked about you asterisk. That single difference changes everything. Stay with me until the very end because today you'll discover the most powerful question in business. Why companies worth billions obsess over customer problems rather than their products. And why the people who create the most value almost always earn the most money. Imagine a key. No matter how beautiful it is. No matter how expensive it is. No matter how perfectly designed it is. If it doesn't open the lock, it has no value. Products are like keys. Their worth isn't determined by what they are. Their worth is determined by the problems they solve. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that true greatness comes through selfless contribution. When our attention shifts from, what can I get, to, how can I serve? Life begins rewarding us in extraordinary ways. Business follows the same principle. The people who create the greatest value eventually receive the greatest rewards. Peter Drucker famously said, the purpose of business is to create and keep a customer. Notice, he didn't say the purpose of business is to sell. Selling is a consequence. Creating value comes first. Imagine two doctors. The first rushes into the room. Without asking questions, he immediately writes a prescription. The second spends 15 minutes listening, understanding symptoms, learning the patient's lifestyle, asking thoughtful questions. Only then does she recommend treatment. Which doctor would you trust? People don't buy prescriptions. They buy understanding. Customers don't buy products. They buy better outcomes. If today's message reminds you that success begins with serving others, write one word in the comments. Value. Because value is the language every customer understands. Modern psychology explains something called self-interest bias. Every human brain naturally asks one silent question during every conversation. What's in it for me? WAFM. Whether someone is considering a new job, a business proposal, a product, a service, or even a friendship, the mind quietly searches for personal relevance. This isn't selfishness. It's human nature. Understanding that truth makes you a better communicator, a better leader, a better entrepreneur, and a better parent. Imagine a fisherman. Would he place chocolate on the hook because he enjoys chocolate? Of course not. He uses bait that the fish actually wants. Successful communication works exactly the same way. Stop speaking from your preferences. Start speaking from the listener's needs. Inside today's boardrooms, the world's most successful companies spend billions of dollars studying one thing: customer problems. Not because problems are pleasant, because every meaningful business opportunity begins with a meaningful problem. Amazon asked, how can shopping become easier? Netflix asked, how can entertainment become more convenient? Uber asked, how can transportation become simpler? Airbnb asked, How can unused homes create value? Every billion-dollar company began by answering WAIFM for millions of people. But here's where everything changes. Imagine two job candidates sitting for the same interview. The first says, "I need this job because I want a better salary. I want career growth. I want stability. Everything revolves around I." The second candidate says, "I've studied your company. I understand your expansion plans. My experience in operations can reduce delays, improve team productivity, and strengthen customer satisfaction." Notice the difference. The first candidate discussed personal needs. The second discussed organizational value. Guess who receives the offer? Jim Collins wrote, "The good to great companies focused first on who, then what. Great organizations look for people who understand value creation, not merely value consumption." Imagine two restaurant owners. One constantly advertises, "We have the biggest restaurant, the best interiors, the newest equipment." The other advertises, "Fresh meals served within 15 minutes, healthy ingredients your family can trust, consistent quality every visit." Which message speaks directly to the customer? Features inform, benefits persuade, outcomes inspire. Warren Buffett once said, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get." Think deeply about that. People rarely complain about paying for value. They complain about paying without receiving it. Price becomes expensive only when value becomes unclear. Chanakya advised kings to prioritize the welfare of their people. A kingdom prospers when its citizens prosper. A business prospers when its customers prosper. Leadership has always followed the same principle. Serve first, benefit later. Nature teaches this lesson beautifully. Look at a honeybee. It doesn't intentionally pollinate flowers. It simply performs its work exceptionally well. As a result, flowers flourish, forests grow, life continues. The bee receives honey. The flowers receive pollination. Nature rewards value creation. Imagine two teachers. The first finishes the syllabus. The second transforms lives. Students remember the second teacher forever. Why? Because information has value. Transformation has far greater value. If today's lesson encourages you to become more valuable to others, take a moment to like this video and tell us in the comments. What problem do you solve better than most people? Your answer might help someone discover a new opportunity. Now, let's build a simple framework for creating value. Before launching a product, before attending an interview, before starting a business, before making a presentation, ask yourself 5 questions. What problem am I solving? Who experiences this problem most? How much time, money, or stress will I save? Why should someone choose my solution? How will their life improve after working with me? If you answer these questions clearly, selling becomes easier. Marketing becomes easier. Leadership becomes easier. Relationships become stronger. Because clarity creates confidence. Imagine an architect. People don't pay for blueprints. They pay for the home those blueprints create. Imagine an accountant. Clients don't pay for spreadsheets. They pay for financial clarity. Imagine a software developer. Customers don't buy code. They buy convenience, peace of mind, speed. Every profession follows the same law. People buy outcomes, not effort. Simon Sinek famously said, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." Purpose creates emotional connection. Value creates lasting trust. Together, they create extraordinary businesses. Morgan Housel reminds us that wealth often flows toward those who consistently solve meaningful problems for others. Money is usually the byproduct. Value is the cause. Before your next meeting, presentation, interview, or business conversation, pause. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I talking about what I offer, or am I explaining how someone else's life becomes better? That one question, repeated throughout your career, can transform your professional success. Here's today's $*million principle asterisk. The marketplace doesn't reward effort, it rewards value. Increase your value. Your opportunities increase. Increase your contribution. Your income follows. Increase your impact. Your influence expands. Remember, listen before speaking. Understand before advising. Solve before selling. Serve before expecting. Because every great fortune, every respected career, every enduring business has one thing in common. It made someone else's life better. If this episode changed the way you think about business, leadership, and success, subscribe and share it with entrepreneurs, students, professionals, sales teams, and future leaders. Together, let's replace self-promotion with service, transactions with transformation, and competition with contribution. Better value creators build better businesses. Better businesses strengthen families. Stronger families strengthen organizations. Stronger organizations build a better society. And together, we leave behind a better world. Remember, people rarely remember how impressive you were. They always remember how valuable you were. Become unforgettable by becoming invaluable. Aum Namapegavaith Vasudevaya.